Spoilers and Fandom is like a book club for geeky stuff. Join us as we delve into the depth of our backlogs and sift through the games, comics, shows, movies, and books that we haven't checked out yet. Hey guys, before we start today's episode, we wanted to let you know that we've been getting a lot of requests on Instagram and social media and other people just asking us if we're going to do the rest of the books in the Malazan series, and we've talked about it and we're going to do it. So the way this will work is we won't be picking out books to cover as part of the show. We're just going to move on to the next book in the series. So for example, today we'll be talking about Deadhouse Gates. The next book will be talking about Memories of Ice, which is the third book, and we'll just go on from there. So until this series is finished, we'll be just doing the Malazan books. Yeah. So stay tuned for that, and let us know if you'll be following with us.
Yeah. And if you want specific things covered, if you want us to talk about it maybe in a specific way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
so
thanks.
Just let us know.
Yeah, enjoy today's episode.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the spoiler-full episode of Deadhouse Gates, and it's spoilers and fandom. We've lost our numbering,
Yes.
but we're trying this out. So last time we did the spoiler-free episode of talking about this book. Hillary finally finished reading the book, and he is with us today. And we're also joined by Dean,
Ahmed Deen,
again. And I'm Sujay, aka Hell's Knight, and yeah, we're going to talk just spoilers for Deadhouse Gates, which is the second book for the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. And on the books it actually says Tales of the Malazan Book of the Fallen, but I guess you'd understand though. Yeah. If you know what the Malazan series is. And it's, of course, by Steven Erikson. So, again, spoilers right from the get-go. So, if you haven't read this, I strongly recommend you go check out the previous episode of this podcast.
And there's also an earlier episode on book one.
Yeah.
So if you're picking up here, listen to book one, then the previous episode.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah. You begin, because you've been waiting long.
So that's no. Yeah, so this is the thing though. Like, if I wait too long, I start forgetting things. What I wanted was like the plots. Let's talk about the way the plots went and how it got concluded. Okay. I think for me that was the main thing. Mm-hmm. So Ikariam and Mappo's plot. Mm-hmm. Should we start with them first? Cool. Because they're the first guys we meet, I guess.
Yeah, they're the first ones we meet in the book, and yeah. The story also gets wrapped up pretty
well.
They aren't the first.
So Ikariam and Mappo's mission was to find answers to why Ikariam Ikariam's trying to figure out why he can't remember everything, and Mappo, he's trying to stop Ikariam from finding out everything.
Yeah.
And
we find this out
we find out as readers what happens, right? Because Fiddler and Co, they meet Ikariam's dad. And it's Gothos, who wrote a bunch of books that we are introduced to in Gardens of the Moon.
And you remember the barrow where the tyrant,
the jagged tyrant
was called Gothos Folly. So he's the one who tried, and probably unsuccessfully, to
maybe talk to him.
I don't know if it's
talk or seal him.
Yeah, I figured it was the sealing part.
Yeah,
the sealing may have been done by someone else.
Gothos Folly was a book.
Yeah, Gothos Folly was
a book.
It was a book.
It felt autobiographical. You keep getting
Gothos
little bits and pieces.
Yeah, Gothos was an author. And he's also the only person who's ever mentioned some species that mankind in quotes has forgotten about. Yeah. So like the Tister Edor and stuff. He's like sort of like this epic historian kind of guy. Yeah.
We get to question a lot of things about how old Jagots can be.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And they're kind of orcish.
Yeah.
Somehow.
It's the tusks.
Orcish. I picture them as like orcish mixed with that demon from DC. What's that guy's name? Etrigan, yeah.
Really?
Like a mix of like an orc and Etrigan is how I picture
That's
Jagots.
cool. And Mappo, how are you picturing it?
Mappo, I kind of viewed as like a Toad kind of Hunchback of Notre Dame kind of Toad-looking guy, like Toad from Marvel, but with like a club and like super like the way Erikson describes his smile is a little creepy because he describes his canines a lot. Yeah. So like a really like so Toad from the X-Men, but kind of like more bestial, I guess, with like canines and like really like soft Hunchback of Notre Dame kind of eyes is how I picture Mappo. It's very weird, but yeah.
And you, Dean, how did you picture Mappo
and Ikari? So interestingly, the Warcraft movie gave me like a lot to go with. So I'd seen Mappo as Duratan, like really big, really buff. The teeth are prominent, and especially in the beginning when Erikson describes Mappo with having like really broad shoulders.
Yeah.
So exactly. That's how I ended up seeing him.
Yeah.
But Ikarim would have been one of the original orcs, the deep green orcs.
Yeah.
But now, rather than buff, he'd be more tall and slender, but still quite muscular. You'd be able to see the muscles themselves like that. But easily a foot over Mappo.
Yeah, the way so you brought up Warcraft. I picture Illidan like Illidan from Warcraft to have like resembling features to Ikariam. I don't know why.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Interesting.
They're weird, different species, but yeah. What about you?
For me, it was the same thing.
Duratan.
For me it was Duratan for Mappo. But weirdly enough, if you watched the Hellboy Golden Army, the guy who was playing Prince Noada, I pictured that the way the elves, because I don't know, for me I always pictured Jagged as elves.
Yeah,
but with tusks in a weird way.
Yeah, because no, I completely get that.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, orcs and elves are kind of similar. in Skyrim.
I was picturing like the Tiste, either the Andi or the Edur, as some form of elves, especially like with their like downward turned eyes, like really tall, really slender, and again, as of right now, we don't know how old these people are.
Yeah.
So they actually felt that aloof as like the Lord of the Rings elves to an extent, but all elves tend to be quite.
Yeah, that's kind of like a racial thing.
Racial thing.
Yeah.
Believe that.
But yeah, now when it begins, they're on one side of Seven Cities.
Right.
But they've just come from Arlington.
Yeah.
Now.
And then they end up past Arran.
They end up past Arran on the other side, heading into more desert.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How did you so what like they're so Ikariam and Mappo, they still don't have answers. Their plot
has answers.
He's just
Mappo has some
No,
answers.
he doesn't, because he's been screwed with.
It seems he's also been messed with to an extent.
Because so what happens for if you're listening to this, I mean, too bad. Mappo's basically been tricked by elders into thinking Ikariam destroyed his village. Yes. And this is why he needs to stop Ikariam from finding out the truth. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's what Mappo is tricked into thinking. Mm-hmm. And so he doesn't, like, what was, like, his mission is to stop Ikariam from finding out about himself, which he sort of managed.
A bit.
Yeah. but Ikariam's not giving up. And the reason that we find out as readers, because it's basically told to Fiddler's crew. So we know the reason. The reason why Ikariam lost his memory is because his dad, Gothos, got trapped in the Azath Warren, right? Ikariam wanted to get him out and was trying to figure out a way, and he irreparably attacked the Warren and damaged it to such an extent that it destroyed his mind. And so I guess his mind keeps resetting, which I think is really sad. I found that super tragic.
It is tragic.
And what's worse is we know this as readers, but he still doesn't. And Gothos as well, who's the dad, does wants Ikariam to be stopped because of what he did to the Azath. And his dad isn't exactly trapped in the Azath. He likes just chilling there.
No, he is he's
a guardian.
As a guardian of the Azath, he's more or less tied to it.
He's tied to it.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's okay with it.
I think once you become for him, and even for the way he describes what would then happen to Ikariam, would be that once Ikariam saw what he did and what he was capable of, along with the cities that he destroyed, so on and so forth, then he'd be at peace with living inside the Azath and being to an extent still an extension of himself. Because something I found also a bit deeper with the whole Mapo Ikariam story, it felt like Ikariam is one form of the Hulk, one form of Banner, where he goes around.
Oh yeah.
And when it feels like to an extent that particular world's reset switch, that were bad things to happen, he would
Ikariam arrives.
So okay, the Azath,
Yeah.
its purpose, as we've seen this far, is to capture threats that are much bigger than what the world can handle, which is
Right, yeah,
what
it's
it
like a
did.
prison.
Yeah, which is what it did to the Tyrant.
Yeah, right.
And as Fid and Co are going through it, you can see it's doing this as well. And it seems like the fake path of Hands was in one way balancing the world out by weeding out some of the solely taken and some of the divers. Because not all of them went.
But now that begs the question. Okay, fine. You send them all on the fake path of Hands. The the more powerful divers and soul taken lead to the weaker ones. That just leaves you with a bunch of shit like Grillen.
Then the
house way more powerful.
The house now takes that.
Would the house be able to have captured that many soul taken? Let's say, imagine if Ikariam and Mapo just didn't arrive in that and fit there in his shell and didn't come.
So according to
something else that's mind blowing, Animander Rake is a soul taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
The hell.
There's so much to pick to unpack from this thing. My original train of thought was that what if in damaging the Azath's Warren, he became to an extent a portable version of the Azath?
Who?
Ikariam.
Yeah.
Ikariam is the Azath.
Or at least is
a part of him, like a part of it.
Either a part of him, exactly, and
it's an extension, or he's an extension of it, partly.
How?
It would explain his anger and being able to just destroy stuff.
But Jagged power, we don't know.
Yeah. We also don't know how strong Jaggots are.
Yeah.
But
especially a half one like him.
What is he half of again?
I guess
he's a half Jaghat, half something else, or maybe what I suspect is maybe half of him became something else when and went with his memory. When I don't know. There's lots of speculation there, right?
So that's
we know who Gothos is his dad. He's a proper Jaghat as well.
Yes.
Who was his mom?
We don't know.
How do Jaggats reproduce? Does he need a mom?
I think that one is pretty straightforward.
For us to be able to get half Jaggats, there's some kinky people out there.
So it.
Those
What are
tusks.
the original founding races again? It would be Imas, Jagat, Fokrul Asil, and the Exchange Mal. But again, we've been shown that these guys, there's still ascendants in the mix, so on and so forth. So literally, he could have done anything with anyone, anywhere to have this child.
I don't know why
And
in my
still
mind,
call it half jag.
I don't know why in my mind I figured that he had like a half human element to him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Maybe, but then how would he
Like
survive?
the
so long?
empathy and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because we're being shown these guys are quite.
Yeah, like
Cold
we've
and
seen
distant.
Gothos is standoffish, and the other one is also he doesn't the tyrant just doesn't care. Yeah, literally doesn't care. So I figured maybe
Although-
he was half human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you remember now? I'm going to contain stuff. When this guy saw the spirits of the Jagat spirits and stuff, when he was describing like how that dad Jagat felt so bad over his family getting killed, blah blah blah. That's a little different, right?
I actually thought that was Ikaria. Weirdly enough, I thought he was getting like weird.
Oh
like,
my
from
god,
Ikaria.
when that
Maybe
be
that's
something.
the reason why he lost his memory. Like he had a wife, he had a child, and they got killed, and he flips out.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's
wow.
a child in as far as Jagats are concerned. Huh?
Yeah, so he flips out, destroys there, kills how many? God knows how many cities. Okay, sorry. Hood knows how many cities. Yeah. And then now, as a reset, and then now he now figures it out.
Yeah.
From there.
When we get into memories and
Yeah, don't spoil
No.
memories though.
They explain a couple of things that would help you understand that vision. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. Yeah.
Who would you say that they're memories of ice?
Well. If you like on the other bits and pieces, they have mentioned that the Jags they command Omtos Felak, right?
Yeah, I think there's Zontos for that.
I do not remember these names anymore. Like this is the thing. I can't wait this
This is
long.
what I was telling you.
And
It's
Omtos Felak is a warren of ice.
Yeah.
So ideally that could be the other.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, the books do
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sense.
Zontos for that is the one for the Jaguar, yeah.
It's just like, wow. Tellan is Imas.
Yeah.
What are warrens?
So
What are warrens? Can we deal with this?
okay. So again,
It's both a place.
it's a portal.
Yeah,
It's
a
a
portal to a
dimension.
place.
And
It's
you
like
can
a
draw.
dimension. I think it's a
and you can-
dimension.
yeah.
In
and you can
opening
draw-
it, you're making the
Yeah.
wormhole.
Yeah, and you can draw power from it, which seems to be. Although again, I really like that this book went into other forms of magic as well, because the Warrens were going nuts in this book. So I really like that we got to see more traditional forms of like land-based magic, like Magic the Gathering style stuff that the warlocks were using.
Okay. Okay.
That kind of thing. I did find that pretty cool. They're not considered to be as powerful, but I mean, when push comes to shove and the
least
Warrens are
something.
acting crazy, hey,
still do stuff.
it works.
These interesting things, like,
And, like,
the way he
spirit stuff.
describes, like Kulp. Kulp is Manas, and Manas is shadows.
But
Illusion.
shadows leaning to illusion.
Illusion. So what we then he mentions he's used illusions, like he was playing around with sound and throwing sound here and there. But what would an offensive, like, damage you illusion spell? What would that be?
You
Oh,
make use-
Cloudmind.
you can make you see things.
Yeah, Cloudmind. Illusion kind of alludes to sensory control as well. So like,
He can make your
your-
ally look like an enemy.
and he can also make you think you're being stabbed by something and
Okay.
make you run off
Then
stuff. Yeah.
Like, even if you imagine-
hypnosis and
If you
stuff
play
like
if you
that.
play Skyrim and you
Yeah.
follow the school of illusion, hey, you
There's
played that
ways.
kind of assassin. Ooh,
Interesting.
yeah.
Because I was just trying to imagine the fight they were having by the dockside. and the other mage, he called her she, like rolled a wave of fire over him.
Yeah.
And now I was trying to imagine how he'd be able to fight back. For
It's
something
like,
that strongly offensive.
well, it's
Well, he wasn't as effective
yeah.
as well, as opposed to like Tattersail from book 1, who just shoots something back.
Yeah.
That said,
Or-
now we could really see they really helped you be
Show the
able
power
to
levels.
exactly be
Because
able
now
to
this
see
is
the
just a
power.
cadre mage. So
Yeah.
he just, he's a mage assigned within.
See, I always thought the Cadre mages were a bigger deal.
No,
they're the normal
that's
type.
because Quick Ben was one.
Was a cadre mage.
Quick Ben was a Cadre mage?
He
Yes,
still is.
he
He
still
still
is.
is. He's the bridge burner's cadre mage. But
But now that shows you
Every-
the level of the
everyone
bridge
is
burner.
like, why is he-
No, because of in Gardens of the Moon, they're given like a big deal when they're attacking that city where a few of them get pwned.
yes, yes.
And I think Tattersall mentions that it's like the top mages. So it's like Tashrum's like the Tashrum? Yeah,
No,
Tashrum
Tashum is
the highest.
highest, yeah.
He's the
And
highest
he
of
came
the
with-
cadre mages.
He came
right?
with no, not even of the cadre mage. He's the
the
high fist.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the high
He's
fist
the
of
high
mages.
fist of the mages.
Okay.
basically, Yeah.
So I thought then all like Tattersall was like general or
Yeah,
lieutenant.
Tattersail would
That's
have been,
what I thought.
I think
yeah.
a fist in
Yeah.
would she? No, she was second. She refused.
She could have been high fist like Tasha.
Night
could have
Chill,
been, but she
I think
refused.
Night Chill and
and
Bellodan,
the crazy puppet dude.
Hairlock.
And Hairlock.
Yeah, these are all cadre dudes.
Yes.
Yeah. But they're still not as powerful as
And the ogre
Extra.
guy, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
But Quick Ben, I think Quick Ben is the same
Quick
thing
Ben
that
is-
happened with the Seventh Sappers.
Yeah.
And the demotion that ended up being
A promotion. Side motion.
yeah,
Yeah, that was hilarious.
that was really cool.
Let's talk about Coltane as well, or if you want.
Yeah,
Should
no,
we
go
move
ahead,
on?
Go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead.
So Coltane's story was the main story
Yes.
for this book
Yes.
because that one wraps up.
Does it though?
Yeah, the
That-
story.
that
the story-
chapter, that
like
chapter
everything,
closes, like
everything
the refugees
opens.
got to Ireland.
Yeah.
So that part is over. In as far as Coltane, Duiker are concerned,
Yeah,
and
like
Bent-
their mission was to keep everyone safe,
tried
and
their
figure
best.
out what the hell they need to do.
They tried their
So
best, man. Wow.
they went from point north
Hissar,
to a point south,
Aren.
and that ending was screwed up. That ending was really screwed up. Wow. Yeah.
Again,
And-
spoilers. If
yeah.
you've not read the books up until now, it's on you.
Yeah,
We're just gonna go into it.
yeah, that was rough. This
You're gonna have
Woman.
to censor me right now.
the nobles.
The nobles, Malik Rel, Kobolodom,
Yeah.
Pomko.
Well, he got his.
He got his, but still.
No,
I
he
still
didn't get.
think-
He didn't get enough.
it.
He didn't get enough.
He didn't get enough.
It wasn't. It wasn't,
wasn't
like all those refugees, all those people, all that suffering.
No, the
They could have
refugees
met
made it
halfway.
though.
A bunch
They
of
made
a
it.
few.
Some of them made it.
A
I,
few.
I want to. Was it worth it?
At that
Oh,
point,
for
this-
Coltane.
yeah, I don't think it was worth it.
No, not.
Of
not
course,
for
it wasn't
Paul.
worth
Not
it.
for. Not for.
Coltane's army and the Wiccans. Wow, they are badasses. They're so cool. My gosh. So in terms of worth, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it as such. But they that was their objective, and
Yes,
and they did it.
They did it.
And
They did it.
well, they no longer exist now. So
But they do. They do. There's a few.
No, but
No, they
if you
did. They all
if you
got
think
killed.
About it in this sense, in that entire journey, even Duiker mentions it. There are tribes that ceased to exist.
Yeah.
The three tribes that came up to meet the Chain of Dogs, the Kundril and the other two, the Kundril fought for the Chain of Dogs and they managed to leave.
Give
But the
them some
other
breathing room.
exactly those other two tribes were wiped out.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, also the Semk were wiped out. Some amount of
Semp were not the Semp. It was the one with TNH.
we'll check.
The Semp, the
Titansi.
Semp,
Titansi.
yeah,
Yeah, the
Titansi.
Titansis, yeah.
The Semp were too weird. to
I
wipe
like
out.
this.
They're so
I
weird.
like the idea that to seal him into a person,
Yeah.
you literally have to seal him into a person.
How do they poop? How do they eat?
He doesn't. He doesn't.
No, that's
like he's going to live like that, and
by that,
decompose
that's
from
him. That's only him.
Yeah,
Because he's holding the spirit.
yeah.
Wow.
But the others, the regular people, is just that the person who they're going to seal their god into.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be stitched shut
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, they're weird. They're so weird.
But that also puts it into perspective because Apt, the Aptorian, came in at that point and fought the Centaur.
For the sun. Yeah.
And she
Godling.
Godling.
It's
So
just a piece.
it was a piece of the god.
Yeah.
So we know a demon is strong enough to take down parts of gods.
I think one Aptorian is something else.
Oh, wasn't there also an earth spirit as well?
In that
Yeah.
fight?
In that
So,
fight, there
in
was
that
an
fight,
earth spirit as well.
The chronology of that fight was these guys showed up, they shot the wrong guy, and they shot the Semk. But
Yeah.
the Semk was like just brushing.
Oh,
brushing
what
off
is
the
this
guy.
mosquito?
Yeah.
And then started fighting.
Toothpick away.
Literally hand to handed the Earth Spirit and killed it
Yeah.
because he was tearing its limbs off.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the weak point was actually the piece of the god that it ate.
Yeah.
He ate. So when the Aptorian showed up, she just ripped that piece out and threw it away.
Yeah.
Meaning the godling had to run off for it. And
Yeah.
assuming at that point now that one becomes weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can fight the container and then you can deal with the piece afterwards.
Yeah.
But the Aptorian was later in the book when Pearl releases the other demon.
Yeah.
It seems like the Aptorian killed it and left.
But also think about it this way: even outside of combat, Apt is so powerful, or at least so important, that Shadowthrone himself listens to her.
Yeah, but also, Apt is not given a lot of respect.
She isn't. But I think it's
So-
because she's bound. That's why. It's because she's been bound.
I don't think she's bound anymore.
No, she was bound by Shadowthrone to look. Was it? No, she wasn't bound by Shadowthrone. She was bound by Shaik to
Initially,
look after.
she was
Kal.
bound
Well,
by
I
Shadowthrone.
think that's a lie.
She was bound by Shadowthrone to spy on Shaik. Shaik and Co. managed to kind of brainwash her and then sent her after Kalam.
Yeah. To defend Kalam.
To defend
Yes.
Kalam.
Yeah.
But at which point now, I think
it
those
was
chains
just a
slipped away.
lie. I think it was just. I think Apt was placed with Shaik as like Shadowthrone, like
just
as
a
you said,
spy.
as a spy, because these guys don't really like they say doesn't seem to eat. Like they didn't really know what the hell Apt's deal was either. So it follows orders? Question mark. It's like how they. This is how they put everything.
It's like
So you follow Kalam.
Okay.
Okay.
And then it goes.
I guess.
That's a problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess like Apt. Yeah, I think Apt was just a spy because Apt was filling in Shadowthrone and reporting to Shadowthrone.
She was.
Cotillion.
But I liked the idea that she was still like an independent agent,
Yeah.
and she was able to like request him for stuff directly, like the child. Like
Towards the
taking
end.
all
Yeah,
the
but
1,000
what
kids.
deal did they make?
I don't know.
They
but
made a deal,
No,
and we don't understand what Apt is saying.
I
So we
think-
don't know what the
I
deal
think
is.
Apt has given Shadowthrone an army through those children.
Was
those
that
children
the
who
deal?
have been, all those children that have been crucified by Kobolodom
Okay.
would become
would be.
in any case there are Shadow's allies at this point
No, they're just regular people.
because
But-
they've been taken in.
They've been taken in
because
by
they've been
Shadow.
taken in
But
by.
but then, what does Apt get out of it?
Rank, dude,
I think Apt gains purpose.
purpose and power. Because now
I
she
don't
saved
know,
the army.
because
don't
of the
think
way the
she's
kid
more for
talked.
power.
Because when they're having this conversation with the Cyclops kid, and Shadowthrone walks away, Cotillion leaves, right? Turns invisible and leaves, and the kid goes,
Does he think he walks out?
like, does he think we can't see him?
Yeah.
I think like that. Like if Abt was truly loyal, right? That would have been like a reprimand or some reaction to show that she's not okay with the kid saying that, but she didn't give that kid that.
I think
So I don't know.
She's playing her own power.
Yeah, I
she's-
think there is something weird going on there. So I'd hope at
So
least.
much to
That
do, so much to
sounds
look
really
forward
cool.
to.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
Now, Iskaral bust and his
Oh,
stunts.
we went past Coltane's
Oh,
though.
sorry, Coltane.
Yeah, back to Coltane. Like his end. It introduced us to like lots of new characters as well. And his story. So we got the whole not the bridge burners, but the other cool guys who were ex Fenar cultist warrior soldier dudes.
Truth, Gessler.
Yeah,
And Stormy.
we got those guys. Those guys seem cool.
Those
And-
guys,
Yeah.
they there's a couple of name drops in there, and these guys are from the First Army. Like they're soldiers loyal to Kellenred, the emperor, who's
Yeah.
now cotillion.
Yeah.
So which is really interesting. Like a couple of because in book 1 and 2, when they mention how Lassine like did away with a bunch of people,
Yeah.
turns out these people are still like hidden
The
away.
holdovers from the older era.
Yeah, it's like she sent away the old guard to relegate them by sending them to remote places.
Places, yeah.
Yeah.
So these guys, after going through the water and getting that bitching sunburn.
So like what Warren was that?
I don't know, but it has an undead dragon.
So there's
Oh, we see the undead dragon again
Yeah.
at the end of the book.
the undead dragon.
Chilling.
I think it's just a bone caster.
I don't know, because it's also I feel like it's a Talan Warren.
Okay, wait. Okay.
I feel like
There's so
go back-
much here. There's so much.
We're going to go back into Warrens for a bit. Huh?
Yeah.
So we have the like initial set of Warrens, light and dark. So I'll go with those two first because light and dark are like the initial Warrens, and you'd find dark is a Tisti anti Warren, and light is, you give me its name, Theory.
Yeah.
And the combination of those two gives us shadow, which is at least the human aspect of shadow is menace.
Yeah.
And they kind of mention that the Tiste Edur were formed of this conjoining anyway. So we would then assume that that's their Warren. But then when we come to something else, like what is Talon? And what is it like? They talk about it like being like of earth and stuff like that. Then does it mean where the ship Cylinder was, with the water and the prairie, is that the Talon Warren?
I don't know.
So how do these guys travel? Because we see their powers, the Talanimas's power, right?
Yeah.
How they can teleport. So we get like info on how Tool did it in book 1. And this one, that whole troop goes aboard that ship.
Yes.
How was it explained?
Dust.
I don't. It's
their dust.
yeah,
And then
but
they
there's
form
like a limit to their reach.
they can't cross bodies of water. That's what they said.
But I mean,
But they still manage that one.
yeah.
Which is now they keep saying that place is strange. It's not supposed to have the water.
Because
We
that's
keep
water
saying, yeah.
that arrived into that water.
Yeah.
It's like it was a field, like
Yeah.
a giant prairie, and then there's water.
It's now flooded.
So yeah. Okay.
I guess since
So,
it's
I mean-
their Warren, they can
So
still travel.
so maybe
within
it's their Warren. Yeah. I think
yeah,
that's
then yes, then that makes
that
sense.
would make
That
sense,
is
yeah.
Talan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So within their Warren, they can travel.
yeah.
But outside of it now, it's like they now can't travel across bodies of water.
Yeah, in this world, I guess. And we also learn again that there are factions in the Talanima, some who were loyal to the Empire and some who are not.
Or not.
Yeah. Hui. There's a can of worms just waiting to. Oh boy.
I think
And their beef. We find out about their beef with because they were there to either kill the Tister Idur or they were there to kill the Tistandi.
So
They were there for a
man,
reason.
What is the deal with that ship? We don't even.
Like,
know what that
yeah,
ship is.
there's some weird stuff going on that ship, so we don't even know that. And there's, oh god, this book has just so much. And okay, yeah. Well, back to Coltane. No, are we done with Coltane?
No,
Basically,
there's still-
no.
there's still so
Okay,
much.
so let's go
There's
back
the
to
warlocks.
Coltane. The warlock stuff was dope.
I
Oh,
love
it was really good.
The way Coltane was killed
was also good.
was screwed up.
It was screwed
With
up.
with the way the crows were being capped
Yeah,
as they were coming to
as
take
they were
his
coming
soul.
to take his-
Wow.
These guys are throwing pieces of like other soldiers on them.
Yeah. That was screwed up. That's a bad way to go,
Like
man.
List,
Wow.
remember List, man. All those journeys. all
Yeah,
those
List
steps.
gets
yeah.
decapitated. Bolt gets like impaled.
Even the dog, man.
That dog.
The cattle dog. With, but
No,
was
one
a-
survived though, right?
Ben
one
survived.
survived.
The big one.
And
Ben
went with Truth and
then-
Guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the little rat dog as well.
Yeah.
But,
And
wow, it seems
but
like
Daika, wow, Daika's
I was
death.
sad for Saika. I was
Wow.
sad for Daika.
Daika's death and
all those soldiers.
Hiboric.
Hiboric
Was
10,000
freed.
soldiers. 10,000 soldiers just
Yeah,
for Pongwall.
line. Yeah. Just because Ponkwall listened to the nobles. Ay.
But I think like in a magic kind of way, I think the way Pearl was messing with guys' heads on the ship, which we'll get to, like Ragstop is also its own thing. Maybe Malik Rel was doing that to him as well.
Yeah,
Because it doesn't make
Malak
sense.
really felt like Wormtongue.
Yeah, I think like he just convinced, like slip a couple of words
and it's
in.
all because Coltane's like, get out.
Yeah.
You have nothing to add here. Get out.
I
Like
think,
it's
no,
so
I think there's something bigger. I think there's something a lot bigger here.
No, it's also
I
because,
just
you know,
think
for them,
he was a
they wanted
corrupt-
to secede from the Empire. So they were going any port in a storm. If Shaik is going to rebel, we will rebel.
Will rebel, yeah.
So for them, they were like, Coltane represents Empire, therefore Coltane has to go.
Has to go. Of course, now like how what you're saying, like how they did it is now out of just because of how he was chased away.
It was personal, yeah. For them, it was personal.
Yeah, Malik. Oh god damn that guy.
Malik, what?
Even those.
And how did you picture him, by the way?
That's just
a fat.
For me, now it was a tall, slim guy.
Yeah, for me, picture Jafar
Yeah.
with like weird skin
yeah.
and like a snake, because like in the audiobooks,
audiobook, yeah.
Yeah.
the guy uses like a snake voice to describe the way the guy talks and his accent. Yeah, it's really cool actually.
I figured he'd be a bit pudgy and like his eyes would be like slits.
Yeah.
And he's not, you know, the way what's it, Krupa was described, not that way. Krupp would be feels like
Yeah, he's that
jolly, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy just seems like he's giving off very weird auras, and by the way, the book like really places a lot in like auras.
Yeah.
So
Description.
I'd figure like he just feels slimy when you see him. He's dressed up and he's very sharp and
But he's
very
just-
competent.
Yeah.
He looks very competent at what he's doing, but
But
he's
he's
just
just a pudgy
slimy.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kobolodom was described as being a short guy. A short round.
Short, wiry,
Short, wide,
very
short,
heavy.
wide,
Yeah.
well
I
muscled.
honestly found him to be the least interesting character in the book.
Yeah,
We
because
didn't
his
get much about
motivation.
it.
Yeah, because his motivation is all done off screen, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he has personal beef with Coltane from before.
Continue
He just
the
wants
empire.
So he just wants to show he's
He
a
wants to
better
prove a
general
point.
than Coltane.
Which he did.
Which he did. Okay.
No.
Dude, their losses. One
no,
army took them out like that.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Yo.
But
He warned you to numbers.
yeah.
Yeah.
We if later on in the book, actually there at the end, if not for the fact that the refugees were there,
Yeah,
there's a
Coltane-
very high likelihood Coltane would have made these guys pay for each and every
Yeah.
sortie, each and every attack.
Like the thing, what was slowing Coltrane down was the refugees.
Literally.
Yeah,
Other than that,
The fact that
But he
had to
did
protect
really
them.
well, though.
Yeah, he did really
well.
Yeah.
And this is why initially I thought this book reminded me of like 300, because it's one of those warrior stories of you know what I mean.
Because like now, I want to hear now the tale of Coltrane told by the Wiccans.
I want to know if the Wiccans are all dead.
No, the Wiccans who survived.
There are some who survived.
There's
The,
the
the
Wiccans
kids,
who
the young ones, and the two warlocks.
No, but like, was that their entire race that was there?
Pretty much,
Yep.
yeah. That's pretty
That's
much
more
what's
or less
left of
it.
the Wiccans.
Because
No.
Among them, yeah.
Where do they come from, the Wiccans?
They're there on the plains.
we need to.
Down
I think
the
now
plains.
this is like in the previous books where we'll have like talk of how the emperor even managed to.
Oh no, yeah, he talks about it in this
We'll
book.
talk about it in this book.
Yeah.
No, like the bigger details and the stories of them. Then we can now be like, is it that the entire army traveled, or rather the entire tribe traveled as an army? Which would be really.
See,
interesting.
I don't
That's-
think there would be just a couple of tribes. I
No,
would
it's
think
all of
that
them.
there would be.
It's all of them because
So
you
they
mentioned
only
the
have
foolish
a dog,
the crow.
crow.
There are a lot of they were
Foolish Dog Clan, Crow Clan, a bunch of.
there were like
clans.
five.
There
five
weren't that
clans
many clans.
Yeah.
described.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
I can find it.
But
I really hope they're not all gone.
I'm glad
'Cause
that
they're
Coltrane's
such-
spirit got into the crows.
How many crows?
I don't know.
Is a question.
They said
Yo.
thousands.
Oh,
There was a whole
description was
plague.
thousands.
The rain clouds
Yeah.
came to the pregnant woman. Rain cloud. Those aren't rain clouds. Those be crows.
Yeah. So if all those crows were just there, and some of them were killed, and those crows hold Coltrane's soul, I really hope that child comes back and they pull and they grow that child.
Yeah.
the way to
I want the
deserve.
Punisher.
Yeah.
I want the Punisher
I want
Coltrane.
that child to come back for vengeance
Yeah.
against Kobolodom, and against Malikra.
Etc.,
Specifically
etc..
for those two guys.
Yeah. Oh, so the other big
what
reveal.
if he doesn't? You wait and see.
Yeah.
The way this book is playing out, he'll show up and just like get stabbed in the eye. Remember the first strike?
I mean,
But the
I
first
didn't
Sheikh had
care.
already done everything
we-
up until getting the army ready.
I didn't care
I
much.
feel like now that whole Shaikh
Okay,
story,
let's talk about that. Sure.
that whole Shaikh story. Even me, I'm not a big fan of.
I didn't care.
I weirdly did because you see now these guys are subservient to Shaikh.
I honestly thought it was. Like in Star Wars, you have the Empire and the Alliance. I feel like Shaikh's rebellion is like less than the Rebel Alliance. Like less powerful. Like a ragtag group of guys who are trying to do something impossible. I got the impression from this book that they're even less than that, because like when we first see actual Shaikh, it's like her and two people.
Guys, two random.
One is a giant, sure, and one's a dude,
Yeah,
and the dude always doubts her.
yeah.
This is the pinnacle of that army from what I understood. I'm like,
A little later on. But I don't know. Okay, they just showed us those two, and even then they showed us those two as being very separate from everything else. Up until the end of the book is when we realize how many
big
and how
that
big
is.
that rebellion actually
yeah,
encompasses.
but again, okay, so Felician's story, right? She escapes from Skull Cup, and she's really mad at her sister, and her mind is warped in fantastic ways.
Yeah.
I use the word fantastic very loosely. And so basically she hates everyone, she hates everything.
Yeah.
And she eventually becomes Shaikh, reborn.
Yeah. Stumbles in.
But the way it's described to us is the whirlwind doesn't really know if Felician is the right candidate, and this kind of continues. So at the end, Felician gains this power to command the whirlwind, right? She manages to teleport an entire army through a whirlwind portal Warren thing to like Aaron itself to meet Kobolodom's army. And back, I guess, as well.
Yes, yes.
So she has that power, but you're still getting a vibe of. I mean, really? Is she? Yeah. Like, so. For me, that was like Felician. For me, is the least likable character in this book. I feel like she's written that way purposefully. Yeah. Like I think that maybe. This is like Erikson's way of writing like a troll character and giving that character like purpose, I guess. But like it amounted to nothing as well, sort of. Like we just lost like really cool characters. We got to learn about a rival clan of assassins to the Claw called the Talon. Yeah. Like there were those kinds of reveals. And we got to see the inner workings of what happens in the Empire if you are considered noble and you're purged and blah blah blah, what happens? Yeah. So we get to see that side, which I appreciate. But like all in all, Felician's journey is she went through crap and she became Shaik. Full stop. Like there's nothing that came out of it.
There's a bigger part to this. Like even as we are going in, like through the story, bits and pieces, the kind of visions that she gets, along with the other stuff that we ended up reading in book 1 and book 2 about the crippled god, it almost feels like there's something else playing here. Who mentions this? I think it's Fiddler who mentions it, that the convergence doesn't make sense. Like
it's
a
like
lot
it's
of
being
things,
masterminded.
Yeah, a lot of things are happening at the same time. And it almost seems
too
convenient and too coincidental that it's all happening now.
Yeah, and Fiddler is the most likely person to say that.
So but honestly, it does feel like, what it feels like is Felicien feels, even she feels like her strings are being tugged.
Oh, 100%.
And she doesn't want to go through with it. But the fact that she hates Tavor that much over this, and it
Tavor, like, even Parent, she hated everyone. These guys helped her out. Oh, I hate you for it.
But that's played out mostly because of her naivety.
Yeah,
she's a kid.
You screwed this guy who was using me.
Yeah,
you killed him. How could you? I loved him, Daddy. Like
that is what pissed me off the most about the fact that she had hooked onto Benneth so much.
That was.
And she was being, but you know what? That's realistic.
That is realistic.
It's how abusive.
Is it?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it's how abusive.
Men writing women?
I mean, with drug use and abuse, and
doing you favors, quote unquote. Yeah. But Felician, for Felician's story, was all a setup for her versus Tavora.
Yeah, yes, I think that is the yes.
Yeah. It's that showdown between her and Tavora.
Yes, this is just the prequel to that.
And it's not just that. It seems like it's also, again, man, the way Erikson has written this, everything is breathing. Everything. Like we have the very smallest scale of life, which is like a bunch of insects and animals running around, and then you have human beings alive to death. And then you have cities alive to death. And he breaks us down in everything, like from Icarium's thing where it's like 90,000 years, and this city, which was, apparently it was the first city, right? The first city of the Empire rise and then fall.
And by the time Icarium came to build his weird disc thing, it was a dead city.
I think
it was dying.
It was already dying?
Yeah, it was already dying. Like the water had receded.
So in all of this stuff, it's like we're just seeing scales of life and death here. So eventually there's this showdown of sister versus sister, but it also feels like it's the Empire versus the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the Empire versus everyone else.
Okay, so in my head, my theory with Felician is those blood flies, they're supposed to be like Hood's emissaries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Felician really lost her marbles at that point. Like
when they're like
when they attacked her and screwed her up. That is when she became this hateful. Like she was moving in that direction. You could argue, but that was like the tipping point. Yes, that was the final straw. I feel like if anyone is pulling her strings, it's probably like Hood.
Considering also she met the priest from Hood at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
Yo, that was not a priest, man. That was
The
Hood
man of the
himself.
flies.
That was Hood himself.
I don't know.
That was Hood showing up.
Why would Hood show up to her?
Why not?
To
Why?
pull her
Like
strings.
literally.
To
why
pull her
not?
strings.
There's no.
I'm marking you. Later.
Upon showed up for Pan. Remember?
Yeah, but
we're having Shadow Throne. And,
But why would why was the Paran family that big of a deal? Why would Hood show up for her brother and Hood himself?
Again, convergence kind of things. We have somehow Pan joins the army. He said he was going to join the army anyway.
Yeah,
so
he always
joins
wanted
the
to.
army
and
Right.
disappears.
So what then? And he disappears in a bad way. He's deserted the
Yeah.
army.
Yes.
Did he desert?
Yes.
no,
He joined up with Dujek. That's the story of why Felician was being punished and why Tavora had to.
Had to
get the
be
family
that strong.
name and
Exactly.
all that
Yes.
stuff.
So imagine the next person who then joins the army, the second sister, joins the army to become the empress's adjunct, i.e. Tavo. Therefore, Felicin has to be made an example of at some point.
Yeah, and the dad committed suicide after what Paran did as well.
Because I thought, he committed suicide because of Paran.
Yeah, he took his life. Felician says he took his life over what Paran did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the mom just withered away, I think.
I don't remember about the mom.
But no,
So you see
Felicin-
all of that stuff just happening, and it's happening to one person.
To one family, yeah.
One family, sorry.
But even now with Felicin, that happening to her in Skull Cup.
Remember, part of it though are her decisions to make. It's not like even with Pan, he didn't just sit there. There are things he did for himself. He interacted with the hounds.
Yeah.
He's the one who touched the blood. He's the one who he's the one who freed the hounds. So basically, something.
And he's the one who freaked upon out to that
degree.
extent.
So part of the things that are happening to him are of his own making. He chose to free the hounds. Thus, the hounds are his allies. And it seems now the hounds are his allies to the extent where invariably Shadow Throne and Cotillion are his allies.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. I'm confused again. Shadow Throne is Cotillion, right?
No.
No.
Now, remember
Shadow Throne
those-
is Kellenved.
Is Kellenved and
The
Amanas.
Emperor. And Amanas, exactly.
Yeah.
Shadow Throne is Kellenved.
Yes. Dancer is Cotillion.
Yeah.
Dancer is Cotillion.
Yeah.
Yes.
The head of the claw.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I
So,
thought Cotillion
Dancer-
was Kellenved.
No,
I'm
Cotillion is
really
the one
confused.
we keep seeing.
Yeah.
And
Consistent.
the
It's the
rope,
one with sorry.
the rope is
The rope is Cotillion.
the rope is Cotillion.
Yes.
Okay. So Shadow Throne,
Uh-huh.
we only see him in Gardens of the Moon when he.
No, we see him in Deadhouse.
When he's talking to
to Apt.
Yeah. And he also when he's
No, that was
when-
Cotillion.
No, that was Shadow.
that was Shadow Throne.
Oh, he's the one who makes the Cyclops kid.
Yes.
Yes,
That's Shadow Throne.
yes,
Okay. And
Was it Shadow
Cotillion.
Throne or Cotillion?
it was Shadow Throne.
But he's the one who gave them. He's the one when what's her name?
He's the one who gave them the
He's
wishes.
also the one
Yeah,
who's
the one for the
unhinged.
wishes.
He's unhinged. He's the unhinged one.
Yeah.
Because Cotillion is very straightforward. He knows what he wants. He's the one manipulating. Sorry, basically from that side.
That's the rope, right?
Yes, that's
Okay. But Shadow Throne is the evil. Like.
I don't know if you'd call him evil.
Well,
really? Yes.
Yeah, it was Shadow
I think he's
Throne
just
who-
unhinged.
Yeah, Shadow Throne who healed the child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Because that confused me.
Yeah.
And this is why this book, I guess, has so much replayability.
like Dean has reread this book. I don't know for the second or third time,
fourth time, four times in, and I'm still finding
new things.
Now is when I'm really tying a lot of stuff in together. And since I've gone up to book 8, now the problem is I don't remember some of the stuff that happens in 6, 7, and 8.
That's okay.
But I still remember like 3, 4, 5. And the stuff now, literally, it feels like a history lesson. Imagine you're reading about stuff, and there's some action someone carried out, and this action is being talked about like as a legend, and then we come and we happen upon the guy doing it, and it turns out it's someone else who did it. So you're imagining like some folk tales or some fairy tale that you've been told all
warped.
this time of Alice in Wonderland, but it's actually Adam in Wonderland, and Adam was a giant. And the mountains you guys are seeing are literally his footsteps or something like that.
Wow.
Speaking of Shaikh and the idea of, I really liked the idea of the whirlwind, the explanation of the whirlwind being the Warren of Raraku. Yeah. And the fact that it's been so, I don't know to say word weak, but it's fallen apart so much that it is literally the whirlwind and the sand and all that she controls now the power of that Warren. Among all the...
Is it a Warren?
It is.
It is a Warren?
It is a Warren.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they keep referring to it as a goddess.
There is
So
the
it's, again, they're coming back into this Warrens thing. I still want to ask my set of questions.
Oh, are Warrens gods? Is that what you're...
I want to say...
the realms of gods.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say like Warrens are planes, just like infinite planes. We are where we are, then there's another plane and our plane and our plane like that. And the keepers of those planes are what people would call gods. Not that they're actual gods, but they're just that much stronger that you'd say this person is a god.
It's like the Warren of Shadow, where now Shadow Throne has all the kids, and now Kalam and what's her name?
Minala,
yeah. It's not that he created the Warren of Shadow. He just operates there.
Now
that's another story, because the Warren of Shadow came about after the death of the Emperor.
Exactly.
I don't.
That's in the first book.
No, now I'm going to that one would be like literally spoiler laden, so I don't get into that one.
Yeah,
because
okay.
I'll spoil for you too.
Yeah, don't.
But like
there's that ancient Warren where they found the cylinder.
That's Telan.
That's a Telan Warren.
That's a Telan Warren.
Yeah, and then there's also in book 1 where we're talking about Dragnipur. Yeah.
No, Dragnipur, by the way, has its own Warren.
That's the thing. So I feel like, yes, Warrens are planes, and maybe the character that you think of, like even when Paran was killed, and he was showing up at Hood's Gate.
So that's Hood's Warren.
That's Hood's Warren.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the only way to access
it is to die.
Is to die.
Or be a priest of
exactly.
Hood. Which is why I still think that the flies are priests of Hood. Maybe not Hood himself. It's too much of a reveal for... Look,
I think it could be... Because it didn't reveal anything. It didn't
tell you directly.
Yeah, it didn't say anything.
It's
just a guy showing up, and when it comes closer, it's a guy made of flies.
But I don't know. I still think like the way everybody describes Hood...
It could be a divers.
It could be a divers.
A divers who came and didn't kill anyone and did nothing.
A divers who's a priest of Hood.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay,
so for me, I took priest of Hood as literal.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually worships Hood, and that is one of the ways that Hood's blessing manifests. Yeah, by making you flies.
Good. Yeah, we also told that the gods have a very cruel sense of humor.
I don't think Hood has a sense of humor.
No, if turning into flies is like, sees like you wanted to become a priest.
You wanted power. He has power.
He has power. Yeah. Then you're like, okay,
But it's also
Thanks.
okay. Now, for me, the biggest question that I had to do with Soul Taken and Divers. Because that I lost my mind now when I was reading this book. Because I loved the descriptions of what these things were. And the fact that it's spicy. Like you see now
The smell.
Yeah, the smells, and apparently when the use of magic for Soul Taken and Divers, you always smell spice on the air. And that's a big point because of that bit where now Cult dies.
Yes.
Where you didn't get that feeling.
So now the thing is, they got that feeling.
They got the feeling and they got the premonition of it.
No, they smelled citrus. They smelled citrus perfume.
Yeah.
The question I wanted to ask would it be that different Soul Taken would smell of different spices? Or that this guy
He was
covered his smell with the smell of perfume.
I think he covered his smell.
I think the smell also comes very strongly when they then turn.
So, okay,
Guys.
Iskar. What did you think of Iskar?
Cool.
Very irritating.
Very irritating and very cool.
I liked him.
I did not like him.
For me, he was like Cropper, evil. Evil Cropper.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
liked him as
I
well.
did tell
Yeah.
him that.
Yeah,
I did tell him that.
evil Cropper
Slash, just, he was so funny.
Yeah.
Oh
he's
my
a lot
god,
like-
he's nuts.
He's a lot like, what's his name? It's guy from Lord of the Rings. Gollum. Where he describes
Ah,
his-
yeah.
Yes. That's
Yes,
Applebee's.
like he's talking to himself about how he's going to screw you over. Like his
while
thoughts.
talking to you.
While like oh, Dean doesn't realize, but he's sitting in a really
In a
provocative
nest of
position
vipers.
that might attract the coaster towards his loins.
Yeah.
And I'm whispering that to myself in a corner.
And
That's-
then, and then you
Clearly
laugh.
in clear earshot
everyone wants
of
to-
Dean. And I'll say, so Dean, are you comfortable? like
That's,
Okay.
I don't know,
Wait,
that's why I kind of...
Is it funny?
He was a
It
priest
was
of
really
Hood, right?
fun, yeah.
He was a priest of Hood, right?
yeah,
No,
Priest of Shadow.
He's a priest of Shadow.
Yeah.
Right.
Then I want to say this is also kind of funny because the boy. Remember how the boy was like, "Does he think he's now at sea?"
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So would it be that like Iskarel thinks
He thinks he's
I'm invisible now?
Yeah.
Let me see what I need to say. Then they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
So are you good now?" And stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. He's nuts. I loved him. I loved him so much. He was so funny.
Yeah.
He's the only comic relief in this entire book, actually.
No,
Who was funny?
Captain.
Captain?
Yes.
Captain who?
Now the captain of Ragstopper.
Oh, okay.
You
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the captain when
I didn't
Callum?
find that funny.
Now I found him really funny because at some point Callum has been second guessing himself since he got onto the ship.
Yeah.
He's been like, there's something up with this. There's something up with this.
Yeah.
And this captain, every time you're talking to him, he seems like he's running two conversations at you, where it's like, "Hi, my name is so and so," but if you take every fourth word, it's like a whole other
There's
sentence.
an undertone somewhere. Or
And
something that he's trying to describe, but he's trying to be slick
discreet about it.
Yeah.
So the second and third time I come back and reread those chapters, it actually makes sense. Because
What?
yes, it does. He's constantly talking about how he's not himself
Yeah.
and there's something up with the ship.
Wow. I need to go back.
Consistently.
Oh
throughout
my
the-
God.
Throughout the conversation, he'd be like, so we've sailed, but it doesn't make sense. We've missed like 3 stops, but that's. Let me see if I can find a couple of sentences and then see how
Maybe even
that.
I can help because I've been checking on the wiki.
Wow. I did not even realize that. I honestly didn't care much for that whole bit.
I loved that bit the most because
Until Quickland shut up.
I really like that part, man. It was because we hear wondering when will Callum figure out that something is up?
Yeah.
Because something is up, everyone, even in the way they're just describing it, before you realize that Pearl is doing something, or rather Sal Kelan is doing something.
Yeah, Pearl. Well, that guy was dodgy from the get-go. I find it weird that Kalam just
didn't figure it out.
Yeah. So this is all part of Kalam's plot line, which starts off as Fiddler's plot line.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Fiddler and Ko's plot line, where they decide that they're going to go kill the Empress Lysine. And this was another funny part, because he says, well, we're going to go kill the Empress. I laughed my ass off. I just laughed. It was just, I'm like, okay, this is where they're going. I don't know, like, so Kalam went his own route and decided to go the straight route, whereas Fiddler and guys, they'd find a side route to try and get to the Empress to kill her.
But the way Fiddler was going, I think they wanted to drop Absalom back home.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they were going a different route.
Not really.
That's the official story.
No, I think they wanted to find the Deadhouse.
They were looking for the Deadhouse.
Yeah, because if they can find that and figure out how that works, that's a huge asset that they have.
Yeah, fast travel.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yes, basically they have fast travel.
Fast travel.
And so Kalam's plot is a weird one, because he's traveling. He basically delivers this book that's supposed to give Shaik power. She gets capped immediately after, and Felician becomes the next Shaik. So he's sort of like this weird catalyst, in a weird way. But then he has this connection to Seven Cities as well. That's alluded to with his connections to the old assassins. The guy he gets the book from, the crap going on with the Red Blades, like there's something weird going on with that's alluded to. And then when he finally makes his way to where the Empress is, he has a lot of fights, which are an action movie. He's basically John Wick at this point. He's basically
John Wick.
Yeah, he's John Wick at this point. And but when he gets to the Empress, he's like, we get a huge reveal, first of all, of why Lysine is doing what she's doing. And this is, so I don't know whether I believe this completely, because she reveals it to be like basically every fantasy RPG game or story has everyone kind of uniting against a bigger threat, even though they hate each other so much, right?
Yes.
Which is what Lysine is explaining. She explains that Dujek has to be outlawed because he needs his own faction, and that way he can join up with our enemies to defeat these other guys who are coming and invading from the north. Some guys who we've never met with. Their name starts with P. I cannot remember the name.
Panon Domin. But you see now, this is what I'm saying. I was saying about the Convergence part. Those guys are to show up with the Whirlwind.
Who?
And to an extent, the Panon Domin.
They're to show up with the Whirlwind.
Yes. Basically, that whole aspect is that whole section is religious war, and which is what Shaik is also all about. And it seems that
I don't know. We don't know anything about the Panandaman except that it's from the north.
They're not really from the north. They're actually from the south.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know anything about them. Full stop. I don't know anything about them.
We'll go on.
The way I saw these guys, it's like if you know about Witcher lore, it's like Nilfgaard invading the northern kingdoms. Okay? So if you played the first two Witcher games, you know about it. I think they're more prominent in the third. But that's the way I kind of view it. But except these guys are trying to unite their thing. So they've decided that, like, well, according to Lysine, she said that Dujek suggested that you outlaw them so that way we can
Consolidate power.
and
But
and
there's
get
no
Kaladin
way-
Brood on our side and Anamanda Rake on our side, and we can take up arms against these guys.
But you see now, for Kalam, there's no way for him to know whether that's true.
Yeah, but he's like, okay.
But he just said that because he realized that when he
The
was
scene's
talking
not
to
on
her,
her.
she wasn't actually there.
Yes, but he knew where Topper was, right?
He did.
Like
Roughly.
Topper was around there.
Yeah.
Topper
He knew
wasn't
that because
the-
Topper, I know
was
where
it-
you
Was
are,
the claw-
and
No,
I'm
no,
coming
I don't think he
for
was
you.
the.
Topper is the head of the claw.
No,
But
he wasn't.
in that
He wasn't in the.
He came later to the
Yeah,
road.
he came afterwards.
Yeah. But he was definitely in the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he
And
talked
that's
to
who
him.
Kalam wanted to go to.
Yeah, I wanted that fight, man. I wanted that fight.
I imagine Topper to be a woman, weirdly enough.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think
No,
that.
because we met him in book 1 as well. He's the guy
we
who
also
takes
met Lassine
Gran.
in book 1.
Yeah.
Yes, at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah,
At the very beginning, when
And
they
she's
went to
blue.
Paran Pan was talking
Yeah.
to
Baron
her.
at Moxhole. So when I was like, wait, we've been here before.
Yes.
We met Lassine twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I'd forgotten completely how the book had begun.
Fair.
Yeah. So for me, this was all just remembering.
Yeah. But still, basically, Kalam's story ends with, "Oh, I love you, woman. I love you too, man." And Shadowthorn goes, "Okay, you're gonna raise a bunch of kids now."
This is a very insistent
And
man.
and
Wow.
this is going to be your pet dog, and this is going to be your first child. I'm like, oh my god.
I honestly believe that why Shadowthrone has taken Kalam is so he can use him to train all those kids to be assassins for.
Yeah,
For
Shadowthrone wants Lucine dead, right?
And who
I
does?
don't
Can we
think so
assume this?
anymore. I think
You don't-
he wanted it. No, he wanted her dead. That was the whole point of Sorry.
Yeah.
That
Right.
was why he. In fact, for him, it was revenge for what she did to him and to the Empire.
Yeah.
But when he was talking to Callum,
He still has hatred though.
yes, he does.
Yeah.
But it eventually sunk in that she was doing it for the Empire. And while he may still harbor feelings of revenge, he may not carry them out, because that's actually what he ended up talking to Callum about. Like, Callum was like, hands off of her. And it seems like, to an extent, Callum is setting it up for, if anyone is to take out Lassine, it's going to be him.
For what she did now to the bridge burners specifically.
Exactly.
He has specific beef with her for that.
But he warned Shadowthrone off of her. He warned Cotillion off of her.
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. Kalam is now threatening Shadowfern, so
But there's been a lot. Okay, this book there's a lot of growth. I think
There
growth
is,
is a
yeah.
big theme in this book.
there's so much info as
Because
well.
you
There's so much
remember now-
revealed.
Growth and rebirth and
Yeah.
all that. Like
Yeah.
look at Gessler and Truth. These guys show up having traveled through a warren with this power now, that having washed over them.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out later that the whole point of this was these guys almost ascended. So-
Yeah, the warlocks all look at them like they're nearly ascendants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all nearly ascendants. And Coltrane goes ahead and busts this guy's nose. And he's
It
a
turns
regular guy.
No, it turns out even he seems like he's ascended.
Yeah, so what has Coltrane done to get to that level where he can break a near ascendant's nose?
Well, Coltane's probably ascended himself. Yeah.
That's the thing. How has Coltrane ascended? So now what does this
What
this
does
mean?
ascension mean?
Yeah, what does this
Because
mean? now?
even
This
for
thing.
Shadowthrone and Cotillion,
How
how
did
did
they
they ascend? And even when they ascended, how did they get to
Why,
keep
how did
Shadow
they, yeah, how did
as
they
their
get
warden?
Shadow as a warden? So that means now when maybe if/when Coltrane comes back, will he have access to magic? Or will it be earth magic? Will he come
Like-
back as a wizard? Will he come back as like one of the sorcerers?
Or
Will he come back as
does
a
he
god
just
for the
yeah?
Vikings?
Because
I would think he'd just come back as like a Thor, like dude.
remember
Or what if he
Like-
comes back
like-
as a diverse, as a bunch of crows?
Like
orc.
Anumanda, you wouldn't really call him a warlock per se, but he can still access his warren, and that's separate of Dragnipur.
Yeah.
Dragnipur is a sword.
Yeah,
Exactly,
and
and that's also separate from him being solely taken.
Yeah. So he has the power of being able to change into a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
He has access to
his warren.
To his warren as a member of that race, the Testandi race.
Yeah.
And he has a warren of his own that he uses as a weapon as Dragnipur.
And he also has maniacal crows.
And he also has maniacal
Oh my
crows.
god, you guys need to know where the crows have come from.
If Coltrane ends up being one of those giant crows.
Oh no, were they were ravens, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the great
Are they? Is there such a big difference?
Yes, there is.
Damn it.
When they talk of croon, she's
The
kind of
great
big.
raven. Yeah.
Yeah, and she also
Okay.
talks,
Yeah.
and she can use magic.
Yeah.
Because they were trying
Yeah.
they were trying to fight Hairlock.
Yeah. She could use magic. Yeah, she could use magic. Yeah.
And the jade hand in the desert.
Now what the hell was that? What the hell was that thing? So Fenar is a boar god
Yes.
who comes down, gets pissed off, and is like, "Screw you guys, I'm out."
I want none of
Why?
this.
No, because so Fenner also most likely has his own warren, and what these guys did is they pulled him out of his warren and brought him into.
Again,
Yeah.
they pulled him out of his warren because Hiboric fainted and Boda touched his hand onto his chest. That somehow pulled Fenar out of his warren? How does that work?
Oh, because it was explained at some point that priests of Fena,
Yeah.
for them to be able to access the warren, you know the way they're covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
So
He had to complete
like
the circle.
like a circle. So
Like
there's
an
a tattoo on
alchemist
his,
circle.
on his,
Right,
on
right,
his,
yeah,
on
yeah,
his hand,
yeah.
and a tattoo on his chest.
Yeah.
So if he touches his hand to his chest, he has access now to Fena's warren. But since
how does
his
that-
hands are cut off,
He's unconscious.
yeah. But when that's why
No,
as
they
a
even
priest of
cut-
Fena, when
when
your
he
hands are
was-
cut off,
He's no longer a priest.
you no
That's
longer
the
have
hard
access
way.
to the warren. But since he's already been through other things, he got access to this magic,
Yeah.
and he touched now the stump of his hand to his chest.
He managed to
He
complete.
managed
Boda
to
did
now
it,
force
right.
that connection to Fena.
Boda did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it was through Heboric, he forced another connection to Fena to come here. And I think that hand in the desert, I'm assuming it's a jagged hand. I don't know.
I don't. Man,
It was
it's
a finger,
big,
dude.
Dude,
It was a
you've got-
finger.
The jagged are like 7 feet. This thing was.
This thing
The
was
finger
huge.
was taller than all of them.
Yeah.
And by the time they were
Standing
like,
on
wait,
top
if
of it.
that's a finger, how?
And then another thing that I don't know that got me interested was
What
when
is
they,
that
while they were
statue?
in Skull Cup
Yeah.
and they were describing the way they go mining on Totaro.
Yeah.
And it's described mostly as a sedimentary. It's like a
Yeah,
sediment.
the geology of the stuff is weird.
Yeah, so it appears in sediments in rock.
Like it was living.
Yeah.
Like or coral.
Yeah,
Yes. Like
So-
coral, more or less. Yeah.
but they say that it was an action of like great magical power
That must have
that
caused.
must have caused either great cataclysm at that point, and everything that just got destroyed at that point settled in that wave, in that line, and then the world became anew. So maybe, I don't know, in my head I was thinking that maybe this is now the effects of the stuff of like someone like Ikarian.
Because there's that, and then there's the Imperial Warren as well, and how.
Oh, that is so weird.
how the Imperial Warren is just like
Empty.
layers and layers of ash.
Yeah. And it's empty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like
like
it's ash.
yeah, it's just ash. Then it's like okay, so wait, something about the Imperial Warren. Huh? Callum found one of Icarium's mechanisms inside it,
Yeah.
but this mechanism seemed to have been there before the conflagration, before the fire or whatever it is that took place that then burnt the hell out of this. Yeah. So is that another 94,000 years ago?
Who knows?
What if the Imperial Warren is like, well, it's called the Imperial Warren. Maybe it's like a warren just for the Empire.
They found
No,
it.
they found
described
it.
that.
They
They
found
said that
it
they found
and
it. Now they
took
use
over
it
it
now
to use
for
it.
traveling.
Yeah.
So it's not that they had any access to it or they get any power per se out of it, but they use it for traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a little slower fast travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one was kind of interesting, because now what is that one? Is that one like just a warren of traveling? Because none of the other wardens do that.
Yeah.
Or at least do it in that way.
Not like the Azath. No, you can travel in the warrens. That much.
The Azath
Azath
is something else. The Azath, I'd like to say it's like the tree. It's like a tree of life.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like
thing.
it's like the hub world in a video game where you
Yes.
access all the previous levels.
But they were saying that once you get to the top floor and you go through whatever it is that place is,
Yeah, you
if
just
you look on the ground, if you're looking on the floor, the tiles that are there
Yeah.
are drawn
the-
like
and
a
the
map
continents.
Yes.
of the continents.
Yeah.
So
multiple continents.
yeah. But we've seen that.
Even-
okay,
even
they're actually
showing-
looking
even-
at
And
the
dude, where were those dragons going? Good God!
even showing
floor. Whose are they?
Whose are they?
Yeah.
I mean, can people have dragons?
And Amanda has
They weren't his.
one. He has at least one.
They weren't
I
his.
don't think you can
weren't
say
his.
I think you can say
They were
the
a member
occupants-
of their
the
race.
occupants
They
of-
lived in Moonspawn.
Exactly. And
This
they're
is
like,
what you can say.
Yo, what's up?
They weren't
oh,
his.
boy, are you okay? They'll come help him and do
Because
other
they
things.
weren't like agreeable as well. Remember when they're fighting the
they
tyrant?
fought the tyrant.
When they were fighting the tyrant, they weren't fighting because Anamanda told them to.
They're fighting because there's like this if this thing shows up and does stuff, is going to destroy the world.
Yeah.
Moonspawn included.
But dude, and then another thing that confused me was now with the Soul Taken and the Divers.
Yeah.
I assume that this was a discussion I think we had separately.
Yeah.
Was
Soul Taken are shapeshifters.
the Soul Taken and the Divers are shapeshifters.
Right.
The Soul Taken being
Singular.
singular, Divers being multiple.
Multiple.
Yeah.
So I figured that the size of the creature that they turn into is a function of how powerful they are. Like at the beginning, when like that bit where what's his name, when Fiddler broke his leg, when they were walking through Raraku,
Yeah.
and they were attacked by the rat divers.
Yeah.
It's called Grilla.
Mm-hmm.
When what's his name? When Ikarian saved them,
Mm-hmm.
he was described as a mass of hundreds of rats.
Yeah.
Then we see this second guy with Felicien, Hiboric, and Culp.
Mm-hmm.
And he kills Culp, and he's still like a mass of hundreds of rats.
No, at that point, it seemed like it had begun to increase. He was hundreds of.
He was more hundreds of rats. But they never said thousands.
No, they didn't. They didn't. Yeah.
So I don't know whether he's the same guy.
Might be a different guy.
Might be a different guy, but it felt
No,
like way too
he
specific.
called him. They called him by name. Okay, the one.
Because now when they finally get to Tremor,
No, this one now when we talked about it, we even talked about it on the map. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
When it's something really interesting here is Felicien and Co. When they land from the ship from Cylinder as Bodin like grabbed her and then they jumped off.
Yeah.
They landed at the same place Sorry and Co. got to.
Yeah.
Basically, they landed at the Azath house, or close enough to the Azath house, but then they were walking away from it. As they walked away from it, they then met Grillen, who is moving the opposite direction and then goes towards the Azath house.
Huh. No, but you see, like, them describing the smell as citrus, it seems like if it was the same guy, that would be part of that description.
The smell of citrus. No, when a bit later when they describe him, they're like, the spice smell is kind of strong. But even then, when he swarmed and ate Culp, at that point, they said the smell of spices was now overpowering. They didn't mention the citrus again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. The divers are weird.
Like, who is stronger than the other? Would it be a divers would be stronger than a solo taken, or would a solo taken be stronger than a divers?
I don't know, because at the end, you know when they're, well, not at the end, when they're going into the Deadhouse, you get the divers in the form of like Denrabi. That seemed a lot scarier than the soul taken Denrabi at the start, who Fiddler kills in like one. But then again, you have Anamanda Rake
as a soul
taken dragon. But then you have to ask,
How
what is a diver's dragon?
Diver's
dragon. What is a
Diver's
dragon?
dragons.
What would that look like?
Oh man, multiple dragons maybe?
Like a swarm of like how would you even
Multiple
have
small dragons? Multiple big dragons? Like 10 big dragons.
I
It's
don't know,
one
because
person.
Denrabi are huge, right?
Yes.
And they were divers.
Yes. They're like 5 or 6. They mentioned 6 of them. Like
I don't know how this works. Because also the leopards were divers, the
Yes.
wolves were
The leopards
divers.
are divers, the wolves are divers.
So it doesn't have to be like rats or like vermin.
No, there's a couple of bears. I think 2 or 3 bears. Because
Yeah, there are at least a couple of bears, yeah. Because one of them gets capped when the warlock is doing his stuff.
that's one. The second one is the
Mappa's friend.
Mesrem.
Yeah.
The third one is the one the Toblakai kills.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Toblakai is a bit weird. He's
And
I
the
want to like him.
description-
I want to like him, but
He seems very aggressive.
he seems
He's not likable, by the way. He's also not.
he's
likable.
not, yeah, he's not a very likable guy, but it's like he's not he's a giant. He's not a gentle giant. I'll put it that way, and
No.
he's not like I don't know. He seems like malicious, just like a malicious dude, not like a like malicious as in I want to like a barbarian in its chaotic form.
I'd say more barbarian than malicious
Yeah.
because he's
He wants things to bleed, is what I mean. Like constantly.
Yes.
Like, and he's grumpy until something bleeds.
Something bleeds.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, I'm not grumpy.
But like to an extent where it's not like haha fun.
The interesting thing about him is how when Heborek pointed out the fact that like it seems like this guy that it's just souls are chained to him.
Yeah.
And when he mentioned that, the Toblakai was not happy at all.
Yeah.
And it more or less intimated that if anything, the main reason he'd want to kill Heborek
is to shut him up.
because of that.
Right.
Specifically because of spilling that particular thing.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. So if Hanamanda Rake was less powerful, less likable, had a weird sword, and had a weird
Oh, then
itch
he'd
on
be
it,
the
he'd be the
Toblakai.
Toblakai. And less charismatic, less talkative, less influential. Like,
Stuck in a
I
desert
don't like
somewhere.
that guy.
But the thing is, the Toblakai is also mentioned as being young.
Yeah. I want to meet the other Toblakai, see how different they
How
are.
different they are.
Yeah.
Because Anamanda is not young. He's not young at all.
No. The other guy was just boring.
Who, Leoman?
Yes.
No,
I found
Leoman
him-
is just,
I
as
found him
I said,
boring.
pragmatic.
He was also.
Was he
we
pragmatic?
haven't
Yeah.
been described what he.
Can do. We haven't
What he
seen
can do,
his.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we haven't seen what he can do. He's a warrior. We know
he's
that.
the second in command
Yeah.
of Drinja's army. And, well, first in command being Shaik herself. And
Like, he's a not confident dude.
I think he's just a soldier. He's a
Yeah.
very
thinks in right
pragmatic
angles, yeah.
soldier.
Because like, I need to do this. I do this.
And the
but
fact that Shrike is 50-50, he's also just 50-50. So he's immediately planning for when it fails. That's basically him. He's like pessimist. The glass is always half empty.
Yes.
But for me, there was something about the whole Shaikh thing being also about belief. Where, what's his name? What's his name with Toblakai?
Toblakai.
The Toblakai.
Yeah, we don't know his name.
He's the character of blind faith.
Yes, by the way.
And
Leoman is the exact
opposite. The exact opposite. Is the one of complete
question everything.
Yeah. He's now complete skepticism.
Yeah.
And Hiborik is 50-50, where he lost faith in his god, so he stopped believing in all the gods until when there was that change in perspective when now Fëanor was forced back to help him.
Wait, did Hiborik really lose faith in his gods?
He did, because you see now he was in jail partly because
he didn't like his god.
He didn't like him, but he also kind of stopped believing.
I don't think he stopped believing.
I
just think he didn't like.
What's the order? Was he a priest first, then the historian, then the thief? Or was he the historian, then the priest, and the thief? Because they said
thief was last, whatever it is.
Yeah,
thief was last,
because that's when the hands got cut off. But the thing is, I think he was also disrobed at around the same time, because without his hands, he could no longer access. Yeah.
So maybe he was.
Maybe he was all at the same time. Yeah. And then when he committed treason, quote unquote.
Yeah, they cut off his hands. And that's how Daika knows him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was sad. That was still sad.
The fact that also when Hiborik came and saw Daika's corpse, because he doesn't have
eyes. You saw Daika's corpse?
Yeah, he doesn't have eyes at that point. But he reaches it.
Yeah.
And he knows.
I know this person. I don't know who it is.
Yeah. And Malik
who is this person?
Isn't telling him who it is.
It's just a nobody.
Malik doesn't know who it is.
No, Malik knows who it is.
By that point in time, because even then, I keep confusing. Truth and Co had passed.
Yeah.
And they couldn't recognize the corpse.
Oh yeah, because he bloated. But no, they never met him. They never met him.
They did.
They met Kalb.
No, they met him.
Truth and guys met.
They met because they were at the bar.
At the crossing.
The inn. Exactly. They were the inn first.
Yes, they did.
They didn't meet Hiborik.
They met Hiborik later.
Truth and Co.
Yes, they met Hiborik
when they got now their powers, when they were doing the whole Warren thing.
Oh yeah.
So they had met Duika, and they met Duika when they were in the inn. Then they had to fight out of the inn from the rebellion.
Yeah, and
then
they went
when they
split.
Exactly.
But it didn't count like they knew him. Maybe they'd never know who the historian. They never knew who the historian would be.
No, they knew Daika, but like, you remember when they're trying to look at the bodies, see if they know anyone?
Yeah.
And one of them's like, "Yeah, we know them."
Yeah. No, they were looking for him.
Yeah, but they're like he kind of lies to them, saying, "No, we couldn't find him."
Oh, they were
I thought because they passed the signal.
They were lying to truth.
They were lying to truth.
Yeah.
To not break his heart.
Yeah.
The interesting thing here is, for me, that we haven't talked about is Crocus's pet.
The Bokara.
What the hell?
Moby, yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
So
Dude has now become
the guardian of
a super demon.
Yeah, he was a super. He made Hounds of Shadow flinch.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like when they're in Tremolo. You know that whole scene where the Grillen was coming from one side and then they started hearing noise coming from another side. And
why?
Then the Hounds of Shadow turned around and then you see Moby coming up the road and they flinch.
Wait, what happened with Moby?
He disappeared.
No. He kept disappearing. Throughout the journey.
Like in book 1.
Uh-huh.
What the hell happens to Moby? Like Moby, we know that Moby was Mammoth's pet.
Yes. They were calling him familiar,
Mammoth got possessed by a Jagat.
Yeah.
Is Mammoth Moby?
No. Moby is totally separate.
Moby is separate.
Moby is a demon. It just said he takes the form of a Bokara.
Moby is a demon.
Moby is a demon. And he's a demon powerful enough that Hounds of Shadow fear.
Powerful enough to become a guardian of the Azar.
Exactly.
The hell? I don't get it.
The thing, the even interesting bit here is at
But
the end of,
why
at
a
the end of the
demon, though?
book.
They said this was a demon. They didn't describe anything beyond that.
At the end of the book, didn't the two Bokaral go to Duika's body?
It wasn't Bokara.
They weren't Bokaral. There's some other
There were some
species.
other things.
They're
But they
like,
shut down that.
yeah.
You remember
No,
that
they're
thing?
Bokaral.
They're not Bokaral.
Imagine
They were like chubby.
and they
little-
were talking about being sent by Baruch, right?
Yeah, Baruch sent them to collect thingy.
The corpse.
The corpse.
The thing that
Actually, the soul.
the thing that was given to
To
Coltane
Coltane, yeah. And Coltane
was
refused to
Coltane gave it to Diker.
Yeah.
And they're here for that, and they're like, yeah, it's the right one. I think Diker's gonna live, basically.
Oh yeah, they didn't describe. They just said two knee-high creatures, scampered, small wizened faces. The description just fits
Oh, yeah.
Bokaral.
it fit Bokara.
But why would
But-
they climb when they can fly?
They climbed around the
And also they could talk to each other. I don't know.
Yeah, that's because I was going to be like, so yeah. So outwardly they resembled Bokaral.
Resemble.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're not Bokaral.
Outwardly there is in the same way Moby is not really a Bokaral.
yeah.
No.
I think these are. I think they're like just like apt. There are a bunch of other demons called Apturians. So maybe there are a bunch of demons who look like Bokaral but aren't really Bokaral, or choose to
Yeah.
turn into Bokaral.
Yeah. Because yeah.
What are my other questions? The other things. Somo,
Yeah.
butterflies came for him.
Yeah.
The
He'd
butterflies
be reborn
came
again.
as butterflies.
Yeah.
Full
Not
of
butterflies.
Well,
He's
why
been
why
reborn
why
again.
not crows though?
There were no crows there.
There were no, but even though there were no crows there, I think
Maybe
it
he
was,
made a deal.
Not even made a deal. I think it's a thing for the.
It's basically their container for
Yeah.
the soul. So I guess it would be.
If
what
you're a
would
guy
be-
of Crow Clan, it's crows that'll come for you.
or rather, we can.
No, but-
If you're
For
Wiccan,
Somo, we were told that crows came for him.
no.
Initially,
his initial death,
'cause he was-
crows came.
Yes.
Yes.
7 crows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now in this one, since I
Yeah.
guess there were just no crows around,
So the butterflies
are what
came.
So where did these crows come from that took Coltane? There you go.
Who knows?
Oh, maybe they were just following the army. Waiting their turn.
Waiting.
So Somo captured by butterflies. Man, those warrens. The warrens still don't make sense.
No, I think the way you describe them as being like
Dimensions.
alternate planes that are controlled by someone who becomes like a god, I think that makes sense.
No, because go back to the question. What is the...
That makes sense.
What warren did the ship go through? The cylinder.
Because we still don't know
The
what
Talan
happened.
Warren.
No.
We
Not
think
Talan.
it's a Talan Warren.
No.
We don't know what
Not even that. When the ship was on the Telan Warren, then
That dragon
Kulp-
was that
Kulp
undead dragon was the
moved them.
god there.
Kulp moved them from Telan into something else in trying to get them into the desert. So basically what ended up happening was like, it's like he tore 2 holes. He tore a hole from Telan into Raraku, and the ship then went into another warren. But as it did that, it passed through fire, which is the fire that then burnt them.
Yeah. So wait. But yeah,
So-
Talan
so-
Warren is the one on fire. Not Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but Telan, as the Imasa's warren,
Yeah.
is not a fire warren. It's an earth warren.
No, Talan, I don't know. But they say, I know the Talan Warren is described as the Warren of Fire.
The warren of fire.
Yeah. That's why these guys, there's that whole, what's it called? Description of what happened to like them and, what's his name?
Tool?
Not even to Tool. What's this other guy called? Border. They're described as being tempered. Like they've gone through fire.
Yeah.
Come stronger out of it.
Yeah.
And the idea that when the Silander entered now that warren, and Clan Imas are the ones who came for them, I assume it's because it's at Alanwar that Imas were able to come there.
Into it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm speculating. I might probably.
Yeah,
be
this
wrong.
is yeah.
Grain of salt, but yeah.
Multiple grains of salt.
Multiple grains of salt.
I have no idea. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. We need to read more.
So this is now fan art of
Duka?
Doika.
Yeah.
He was the one who was telling you.
A bit less beard though. I saw him like mid-40s.
I saw him.
I didn't see him with a beard.
super old.
I saw him with a beard. I saw him as actually a youngish version of what's his name, Morgan Freeman. That name took way too long to
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a younger version of Morgan Freeman in my head.
See, for me, the hair.
Uh-huh.
The hair, the way you describe Morgan. Yeah, I can picture the hair.
Yeah. So he's, I don't know. Like, I'm really hoping Daika comes back. And I'm really hoping Daika comes back for the sake of that story of Coltane's army to be told correctly.
Chigal Trade Guild.
Yeah. The Chigal Trade Guild, that was amazing.
Okay, so we've talked about the plots. What were your favorite?
Plots or characters or what?
Your favorite moments in these books?
Wow.
In this book?
In this book?
Yeah.
The multiple. Action.
Okay,
moment.
your top three. Yeah, top three.
Okay. Action moment is
No, just doesn't have to be action. Top three favorite.
Top
moments.
3 favorite moments.
Or
one is Callum
John
literally destroying
Uh-huh.
multiple hands,
Yeah.
multiple claw hands, and the best part was when he literally lifted himself up by one hand using the tongs.
Yeah.
That second part is the second crossing, when actually those two are just chain of dogs things. When Duika and Co first get to the Semk godling, then the fact that we see this fight from 3 perspectives, I really liked. I really liked that.
Yeah, that's again from Gardens. The
So
same.
if we could have that as one scene where we're just seeing it from the 3 different angles at once, that was fantastic. And then the second part was when they got to the river and they ended up having to cross the river, and on the other side of the river the sappers had dug holes in the ground
and set up a road.
And it was just like, wow, these sappers were MVP at that point in time.
Yeah.
And this I think was one of the hardest fights they had. Yeah. Because it just happened.
It was racing against they're not even fighting against the other army, they're fighting
against the time and the refugees crossing.
The nobles being stupid. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I think those 3, but man, I've cut out so much.
Yeah.
And you, what are yours?
For me, my favorite moments. Okay, Coltane's death was crazy. For me, it was a screwed up moment, but wow, that was for me, that was the highlight of this book. Mm-hmm. Second one, I would pick. I like the road thing that you mentioned.
Oh, the sappers.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then another, the Kalam John Wick thing was crazy as well.
Thief.
Yeah.
Hila was saying
just
like thief.
Yeah. But also like this reveal, like when they meet Gothos, that was huge.
That's a huge.
It was just such a drop,
that was
man.
huge because
like, surprise.
Yeah, like I did not expect that. Not only did I not think that they would meet Gothos, I didn't think Gothos was Jagat. I didn't think he would be Ikarim's dad. like those multiple. What the hell?
So much there, man. Wow.
Yeah.
And we're here still waiting. Who's his mom?
I need to. Tonight I'm starting Gardens.
Starting?
Sorry, not Gardens. Memories. Right.
Please, guys. Please.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
please. We
Yeah.
need to talk about even just the.
Oh,
epilogue.
sorry. Your
Your favorite bit.
My favorite bits.
yeah. And then let's do
Seventh Army Sappers.
doing anything.
Anything those guys did.
All three.
Anything those guys did was just beautiful.
Yeah.
I also really liked that scene of Kalam when he's in Mala City trying to get to the Deadhouse.
Yeah.
And he's going up against all the Talons.
Yeah.
We'd actually been talking with Dean about who'd be better in a fight between him and Buddha.
I think Kalam for sure.
And even after Bodan was near ascendant.
I mean,
When
rats
he
took
fought
him
the
out,
rats.
But
man.
that was a diver.
Yeah, but
that's
that was
one
a
of the most
divers.
powerful divers. He almost gave, what's his name, Ikarian stress.
Still. Like him thinking that he was fireproof.
He was.
He was because if
I mean, because once it happened, like I don't know. I thought Boda was a bit dumber. I did think he was a bit of an idiot.
I think the situation that they were in
Like
is what colored that.
like if it was Kalam dealing with Lucian, do you think Kalam would have been the same?
No, God.
So remember,
This is
remember
why
a
I
couple-
think
a
Boda
couple
would have
of-
failed.
a couple of things there. Boden was to protect her.
he was
That
sent
was
there by Tavon.
that was his
protect
job.
her.
His job was to make sure whatever would
Now
happen
again,
to her,
the
he'd protect her.
implications. He's a Talon, right?
Yes.
The rival clan of the
The
Claw,
Claw, yeah.
taking orders from Tapura. Who
That's-
is
that
part of
also-
the Empire.
that-
What
that
is
was- no,
this? What
that
is
was
this
that
now?
was the precise reason he was chosen. He was chosen because even if he'd get found,
He's
or
a
even
former
if
Talon.
anything were to be found out later,
Yeah.
the story would not make sense. Like no one would believe that Tavo would have sent him.
That's
Giving
just plausible
that
deniability.
exactly,
Yeah.
giving it.
But why would he do it? Huh.
So now the question that's the question that has not been answered yet.
Yeah. What's Tavo's plan?
Why would she do this then do that?
Yeah.
Why would she sentence
her
her sister and then
Try
in the
and help
back
at the
try and
back.
help?
To try and keep her alive still.
And what was the end game there?
Yeah. Because because she's in a position where she could easily have faked her death, sent her off somewhere else. She lives another life somewhere.
Exactly.
else.
Even then,
If she can get a Talon to her, she can save
she
her.
can save her.
Yeah.
Because the other bit was the whole plan for Heberic being spirited away was specifically for Heberic.
Yeah.
It wasn't for Borden or for Felicin.
Hiboric was being saved because he knew Daika.
Yeah.
Who he was with was just.
So what was the end game? What was the end game for Felicin? So
She was
there's a lot of other questions somewhere
coincidence.
inside there.
What was that? What's the word? Synchronicity.
My
Yeah.
my most touching moment was there are two actually. One when Coltain finally meets the Sapper captain.
That was dope, yeah.
That one, and the second, and this was the really intense one when Lal conscripts the servants into the army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
When he conscripts the servants into the army, they told this ragtag troop is being given. Where do they even get uniforms?
See that guy?
I know, but imagine that. Like, even as this, and this was why, like, this army would have made it if not for the refugees.
Yeah.
You're being told the army goes. Even as this is happening, we still have uniforms being repaired. They still made the sigils, and one of the really interesting parts about how Coltain ran his army, when Duiker first made it back to, remember the town they were in. Then when they went to look for the boat, when he came back, and we're being walked through how the army moved. Like, even against superior numbers, these guys utterly demolished this other army.
Yeah, they take literally everything. as well and use it
by
in
the way,
whatever way they can. I love that.
They shoot all the arrows and they come back. They pick out the arrows. They pick out the armor, the clothes, and everything, and then they just go step by step, everything.
Yeah.
So
No, that army is insane.
Insane, man.
for me, I don't know. My favorite bits of the book was the crossing. The crossing with the sappers.
Yeah.
Anything with those sappers.
Everything with the samples.
Coltrane breaking whoever's nose.
Gessler's nose.
Breaking Gessler's nose. That was amazing.
Go on.
Yeah,
go
that
on
blew
first.
my mind. Pretty early on in the beginning when Ikariam and Mapo are looking through now Escaral Post's temple, and they go into the basement. And they find
that was
random ship and all this other
random
stuff.
ship. It was the boat.
It was
the
Which
boat. Like, okay, for me, the whole thing was just Iscaral just placing things there for these guys to realize later, oh, this is what it meant. So it's like, oh, this is a fisherman's boat. This is like a bunch of twine on the ground. When Felician was not Felician, Absalar was what was her name before Absalar?
Sorry.
Before it was Sorry. I don't remember.
That one.
Fisher Girl was taken to be made into Sorry. I thought that was what the hint was.
Yeah.
Like all that was just Iscaral just put all that there. So Iscaral knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As nuts as he is.
Yeah.
He knows what's up.
So I liked that whole sequence of them being at that temple, not knowing what's beneath them,
Yeah.
but still choosing, we're gonna leave. We're gonna go to Tamolo. And meeting now, that's when they go out and then they meet Fiddler and friends, and then they come back, heal him, and then
they start the journey.
Tremolo was a big thing for me. I really liked that whole idea of we're racing here, and it's chaos when you get there. So you have to avoid all these divers and soul taken and all that kind of stuff. And it also gave a nice callback for when Fiddler now threw the shell.
Oh, that was epic.
The Tana Spirit Walker.
Yeah, when he got now from that guy. Now that Spirit Walker was saying that is it possible for an entire battalion to ascend? Because he wished he could tell a story of the bridge burners, and he wanted to touch Fiddler to get the bridge burner story, so he can sing a song and they'd all ascend. If I was in Fiddler's shoes, I'd have let him do it.
But again, like in everything, every gift comes with a cost. So what's the cost? What's the sword's cost?
We don't know. Like what happened? What's Gessler's cost? Nothing. He suffered.
We don't know. Now something. I was saying these names are really, really key names. Huh? Do you remember what they called the original High Fist of Iron? Catharon. Catharon Crust. He was the one who they were having an initial conversation, I think Dujek and Whiskey Jack, and they'll talk about the old god and how the High Fist of Aaron, Catherine Crust, was said to have drowned in the harbor, a man who could swim while drunk. Captain is Catherine Crust.
Wait, what? For real?
Yes. At the end of the books, the old guy whom Callum was talking to on the ship, referred to him by name. He was like Cathera, and then the guy was like, belay that. So that's Catherine Crust.
What?
Catherine Crust's brother is Surly.
You're joking.
Surly, Gessler, and Truth. These are all the original guys from the original Seven Cities Navy.
So they were hiding out in Ireland. Okay, this just got interesting.
Wow.
When you follow the names.
Wow.
The names now what get you.
You need a diagram to follow this book, I think. Like it's nuts, man.
So I was just having.
No, I think it's because we've also been focusing on the bigger characters,
the
like
story,
Anomander and
That's
those guys.
what I'm saying. On like the second, third read through and all,
You catch.
when now you're looking at the details, you'll be like, oh, this, that. So talk
the younger.
the younger
Oh, bloody
is Catherine's nephew.
Oh no.
No.
That means he's going to find out. Okay, who? No, he was with.
He was with Paran
with
when
Pan.
he
was
got
with Pan
when
Herlock tossed him
chucked
into the warren. Yeah.
So that means he could survive.
I think he
Ideally, he's
did
still
because. Oh no.
We don't know.
And
I
Talk
think
the
he
Elder,
did because
and Talk the Younger, the ones who
because
taught,
Talk the Younger also had
Who
books.
taught
Draker
Draker
how to
how
how
to
to
write.
read and write.
Ah, damn it. Talk was cool, man.
Talk was very cool.
I don't know. He's definitely coming back. Because if
hope
he's
so.
okay, all we know is he was thrown in.
He was
Yes.
tossed in a war.
Yeah,
We don't know.
but
anything else.
specifically, he was tossed into chaos. The warren chaos.
Cool.
Let's see.
So
But
what
these
Quick
guys
Ben
say
can
through
find
all-
him.
Yeah.
Huh?
He'll be
But I
found.
don't know.
Quick Ben
I
can
don't know
find
if
him.
Quick
Okay.
Ben can. Does Quick Ben access chaos?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did because he went to look. He went looking
For Hairlock. Yeah.
inside chaos. Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
now, as to why Shadow is really not Shadow, Hood is really angry with Quick Ben.
No, it's
think-
Shadow Thrones.
It's Shadow.
No,
He was a
no.
beast of Shadow.
Hood
Why is
doesn't
it crazy?
because Quick Ben was a former priest of Hood.
No, he was a priest of Shadow.
He was a beast of Shadow.
I think he was also a priest of Hood. Let's
What?
Yeah.
How, dude? Where are the flies? Where are the flies?
The thing is, why I'm saying Shadow.
He was a priest of Shadow. Because, like, Shadow Throne even talks about him.
And even this Carol, when they got resupplied,
Yeah.
that resupply, the Trigel Guild, that also made me really happy. Those are now emotional moments for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
He got
these
drop.
guys, getting now a new drop. That was really, really cool. Another emotional bit for me was was that bit for when Hiboric was seeing Daika's corpse.
That was so screwed up.
That-
Because you say seeing his corpse.
yeah, and he just
He didn't. He doesn't know it's
he doesn't know it's him. The bit for
And you as the reader, you clearly know.
Yeah, sorry, it's Hound of Shadow. My bad.
Yeah.
It's Hound of Shadow.
and the bit for and when these guys now come out of the Warren or when Gessler, Truth and Stormy get out, and even Border, when those guys get out of that Warren and you see that they've been changed by it, I really liked that.
Yeah.
And of course the conscripts, when the servants were being given the new role in the army, I
Yeah.
really liked that. Yeah. Squint killing Coltane.
Squint is going to be a major character later on. I
Yes.
bet. he is too good a sniper
And
to
you saw
just
the description
show up
of
and
him, where
vanish.
he wears like a bandage over his eyes. Then when he removes it, his eyes are completely black.
And he's a shaky guy.
Yeah, he's a
He's
shit.
like, see this hand? Like, it reminds me of Blazing Saddles. See this hand? Shakes like a leaf. Steady as a rock. But I shoot with this hand. Like,
Oh man, Squid.
Let's see.
yeah, he's going to be a main character.
So
and then he
all
vanishes.
beginning memories of Ice, I'm assuming within the next.
Yeah. Wait, so has your rating
2, 3,
changed?
what?
Last time...
What's
last
wrong
time...
with you?
I'm starting Memories of Ice tonight. I don't care.
Please,
Um,
please read the epilogue. Just the epilogue.
I'm going
Please.
to do that.
Oh, you're
Oh,
with me. Okay,
okay,
sorry.
okay,
So
okay,
last
okay.
time you rated this 8 out of 10
Yeah.
in the spoiler-free episode. Has that maintained?
Yes.
8 out of 10?
8 out of
8
10.
How would you rate?
8 out of 10.
Okay, for me it's still a 9. So you liked
Golden.
Gardens of the Moon more than this book.
Wait, what did I give Gardens of the Moon?
9?
I gave Gardens of the Moon 9.
I need to confirm.
Just hold on a second.
Actually, you have the notes on
Yeah,
your
I
side.
have the
Yeah,
notes.
yeah.
Yeah, so let me just check.
Yeah, just check.
Because I remember, okay, wait. If
No, you gave it an 8 as well.
I gave it an 8 as well.
No, I don't. Just confirm. Yeah,
Just
just
check.
confirm.
I gave it an 8 as well, yeah. You gave it
Okay.
a 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
Deadhouse, you gave Deadhouse a 9 as well.
yeah.
And I'm giving Deadhouse an 8.
Okay.
So what I'll do, I'll have to review my Gardens, whatever. My
What do you
Gardens rating. My rating for Gardens of the Moon.
Because you like this better than
I like
Gardens.
this better than I like Gardens of the Moon.
It's fine. It's fine. Like, things change. You
Yeah.
do get better.
I like
so
this
it's fine.
better than I like Gardens of the Moon.
Okay.
Purely because my favorite character in this book was Cotillion.
Yeah. this is Coltane's story.
Yeah, this is
With a
Coltane's
bunch of other stories that can come out of it.
If
But
this
yeah.
was a movie, it would be the bleakest movie ever. But it
Oh
would
my
It
be
would be
goodness.
so
good.
cool.
It would be so
yeah,
bleak.
it would be
The
really
entire
good.
movie just be grey.
Just death. No, it would be yellow because it would be like Mad Max, but with death. Loads and loads of death.
Wow.
Because that's all they've done. Go through a desert.
Dude, it's quite an epic.
Yeah.
Like
This-
that's I
this-
keep
by the-
comparing
this-
this to
this-
300. Like
this
I keep
in
comparing
itself
it.
is like 4 movies
Yeah.
on its own.
Because those are four
There's-
separate
there's-
movies.
there's
There's
no
Contain
way-
Story, which is one movie.
There's no way of doing these books as movies.
No, there
Just do
is.
them as a TV series.
One
the way to
day.
do them as a movie would be just pick one story.
You pick one story and you
Yeah.
run with that.
So it would be like, let's pick Callum's story.
And you go
And
with
we
that.
go with that, yeah. And Callum's story ends with...
Because even
action
Felician's
sequence.
story is a movie in and of itself.
It's
Like
like,
even when you look
Felician's
at-
stories would be like 2 movies.
No, you
Everything
can do
up until Skull Cup.
everything up until no Skull Cup. No, you can do the beginning as like a relative flashback with her remembering her family, and her going through the slavery, then getting to Skull Cup. Skull Cup is one story. Then getting through the desert is another part of the story. Them going through the Warren is
Then
now the
getting
climax.
through the desert to go to the Warren.
To go to
Come
the Warren,
back
to
here.
come back here to eventually become Shaikh. That's one.
That's one.
That's now. That's
Who would you cast as Felician? A character you don't like? Who would you cast
I have a
an
picture.
actress to
Because
play
she's
her?
described as being pretty.
Ellen Page.
No.
Mm.
Young.
Rooney Mara's sister.
That one.
Yes, Rooney Mara. Yes.
So there's,
What would
yeah,
you
it's
do?
actually Rooney Mara herself. Is whom I'd choose.
Is what?
Rooney Mara herself.
Rooney Mara herself,
Yeah.
like Shaikh herself.
Yeah, as Shaikh. As Felicin.
But she's okay. I'd look.
I can
I'd
picture
have a
her.
younger actress. Probably.
Younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she's described as
The
being
thing is,
15,
this
16.
this one, yeah,
Yeah.
but yes.
Wait, what did you read this book now?
This book? 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
8 out of 10. But the thing is, for me, I have like
You have 5 more books ahead of you.
not just that, dude. For book to get to 9,
It's really hard.
and there's no 10 out. I've not encountered. Okay, I have a 10 out of 10 book. It's only one.
In this series.
No, in my life.
Oh, in your life.
what is that? I need to know.
What's your 10 out of 10 book?
It's. I'll look for the name and then I send it to you guys.
You don't know the name?
I know the name. I don't want. Okay, Explorer of Barkham Street.
Explorer of Barkham Street.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a book I read. It's
It's
a favorite childhood book.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like
I'll look
Earthsea
it up.
for me.
I don't.
It's what?
know
Earthsea, the
if
Wizard of Earthsea.
I've
They're
never read
not
that
in
either.
the same type of way.
Okay. Sorry. I think we better.
Coming of age.
Okay.
I think we better call it.
Okay.
So that's it for this show. Remember to play Spec Ops: The Line.
Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah, and we'll tell you what comic to do next. When we hope you liked it, and stay tuned for the next podcast that we'll do.
Yeah. And if you
Bye.
guys want to talk Malazan, you can hit us up on Instagram, on Twitter.
Yeah.
We are actually really, really open to discussing this kind of
Please
Yeah.
do. Please do.
But no spoilers, we're going with the books as we are going with the books. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Do you have an opinion on what we just discussed? Did we miss something? Tell us in the comment section and we'll read it in the next episode. If you're listening on Anchor, send us a voice message and we'll add it to this episode. Don't forget to follow our podcast on Twitter @SpoilFans for updates, and follow our Instagram for behind-the-scenes action @Spoilers and Fandom. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and Anchor to get the latest episodes.